Now, are you a family person and are you worried about how much stability can you provide to your family in the unfortunate circumstance that something were to happen to you and you were not there to provide for the future expenses of your family? So in this video we would talk about such an unfortunate situation and how to plan for it. So in this video we'll be primarily talking about what is the corpus of term insurance that a person requires. Now, does everybody need a term insurance? Now, this question will divide opinion. There is one camp which thinks that a term insurance is an absolute must have. I mean, before you have most of the things, you should go ahead and get a term insurance. And there is another block of people, I'm also a part of that, which thinks that term insurance is more based on the specific condition of that particular individual. So I think that if a person doesn't have any dependencies as such, so for example, in my case, I mean, everybody in my family other than my mom works. So, there is nobody who is dependent on my income. Secondly, I've already created a corpus, which in the case of my demise would be able to cover around 50 years or 50 times my annual expenses. So, that is not because I have gone ahead and created a huge corpus, but because my monthly expenses are very, very, very low. So because this situation is so present, I don't really have a dependency and I don't really need to create a term insurance that I must, opt for. If you, however, have a dependency, I mean, you have family which is dependent on your income, or you have children whose education you must take care of, or you have parents whose health expenses may come up in the future, or any other thing which you can think of in terms of a contingency. So you must ideally have a term insurance. Now, what is the corpus that you would need in terms of your term insurance? Because you don't know that how much is the amount you should opt for in terms of what is the amount you should buy in terms of a policy, so that every need is covered. So for that, a very simple rule is that whatever is your expense, yearly expense, you can go ahead and multiply that by 10 or 15. In a country like India, which where the inflation is on the higher side, ideally it's safer to go with a multiple of 15. So for example, let's consider a person whose monthly expense is 50,000 rupees. So that translates into an annual yearly expense of 6 lakhs. And if you were to multiply that with 15, that would lead to a corpus of 90 lakhs. Now, that's not all. Beyond this, they could also be, as far as the spouse is concerned, you must also provide for, expenses in terms of other dependencies in your family. For example, your children may have educational needs. So for example, your son may have a 20-year requirement of around 20 lakh rupees, for example, for higher education. Your daughter would also need it probably 15 years down the line or 20 years down the line. So essentially, together, assume that you have a need for 40 lakhs of corpus for your children's education. That also must be added to the amount of the, the payout for the term plan. So for example, if I was assuming that 15 times my annual expense, so that was coming to 90 lakhs plus 40 lakhs for my children's education. Again, assume that you also have a home loan outstanding of, for example, 50 lakhs. So that also must be added to this corpus that we were talking about. So 90 lakhs plus 40 lakhs for your children's education, plus, for example, another 50 lakhs for your home loan. I mean, so that amount comes to 90 plus 40 plus 50. So that comes to 180 lakhs that it stands at. Now, if you have any savings already, or if you have any corpus which you are expecting in the future, you can go ahead and subtract that from the amount that you need in terms of your term insurance amount. So this was basically a small calculation of how we can arrive at the term insurance amount that we must opt for. I mean, the payout, how many times it must be of your earnings, So essentially a 15 cross number of your annual expenses. On top of that, you add your projected expenses for your children's education or any other plan that you may have in terms of providing for your family. So for example, if you have another 50 lakhs in addition to your annual expenses of 90 lakhs, so that gets added to your 90 lakhs of annual yearly expenses into 15. Whatever is the corpus you get, you also have to add whatever your loan amount outstandings are. So for example, if it's another 50 lakhs, so that also gets added to the corpus, and from that you subtract whatever is the savings or investments that you already have. If you do that, you would arrive at a number which would be more representative of the actual figure that you must have as your payout in case of an unfortunate circumstance. So this was a small video about how much term insurance must you opt for. This was a simple calculation. There are many calculations and many dependencies that must also be taken into consideration based on the person concerned. I mean, because a lot of different factors come into my calculation. The one which we talked about was for a person who is in the range of 40 or so. So if you like this simple video, please hit the like button. And if you are benefited by the kind of videos we are producing, please subscribe to this channel. And also do let us know if you have opted for a term insurance plan and what is the amount or what is the multiple or what are the eventualities you're covering as far as your amount assured is concerned. So thanks for watching this video and you have a great evening ahead. Bye-bye.